Hello and welcome to another episode of Alan Revises. This should be number 4, probably. I've got notes to that effect. Anyway, we're working on Injustice Club, where it's a comedy comic screenplay, and we're trying to make it all flow. It's flowing pretty well. I put a lot of work into this previously, uh, and I hope it shows. But it can be better. It can always be better. That's one of the things that you figure out pretty quickly when you're editing anything. Um, is that there is always room for improvement. There will come a time when you're making it too complex and too intricate. Let's say, once you reach that point, you have to step back and you have to say, well, now I have to simplify it, which is always the more difficult part of things. What was the old expression that it's it's ne- things it's no it is always easier to add than to take away, and you never know when you're done. You only know when you're done when there's nothing more to add, but when there's nothing more to take away. When the last thing you can snip will make the entire statue crumble, so to speak. Thinking of Renaissance artists, etc. All right, so they're about to do the heist. I swear to God, they're about to do the heist. We are most of the way through, so the heist has to come, and then there has to be the resolution to the heist. And hopefully we'll have a good time doing it. And it's got to be a little comedy in there. Tex enters the conference room with Fidelia in tow. Nakara lounges in her seat. Swift, as usual, stands. Indril plucks idly at a security force garment, his tattoos covered up. Indril, I don't like disguises. Lenixa enters dressed the same as Indril, subtly hiding her expensive magical jewelry as she steps past. Lenixa, then you are in the wrong business. Speaking of which, looks to Nakara, your turn. Nakara holds her breath and transforms her clothing to resemble what Lenixa wears. Lenixa, that's useful. Swift, surprised. Are you naked? Because the answer is yes. Shapeshifters have a tendency, if they're going to adopt clothing, it's actually going to be them in some way, shape, or form. And I won't get into the logistics of that, of trying to make your flesh seem like it's clothing. It's obviously a trick. But you have to have something that at least responds to your body or mind. And we're not going to get into that, but as a Venusian, she's essentially naked all the time. She's just simply not human. So, there's that. As Nakara pivots to answer, Fidelia leans over to whisper in Tex's ear. We don't get the answer to it, obviously. Tex tutor, Yardley is in position. Everyone pays attention. Nakara, kindly reactivate the telepathic nexus. A low hum fills the air. Yardley print, telepathic. Hey, everyone. Text tutor, telepathic. Is everything well, Yardley? Yardley print, telepathic. I don't have any cops chasing me, so no fun at all. Text tutor, everyone to your places. Distract the authorities. Recover the artifact. Good luck. We're all counting on you. Exterior city, day. Brightly colored balloons waft high above the city, weighed down by little packages on their strings. A balloon pops, and a package drops down. The package hits the street and goes off with concussive force. With a boom of it's a boom of concussive force. Several cars screech to a halt, others swerve, havoc ensues. More bangs crack out across the city. Smoke, haze, and horns blare. Storage units. Day. A van bearing a security company logo pulls through a fortified gate, eases past security fences strewn with barbed wire, and heads for a security shack. Security shack. The nearby TV blares the emergency news break, showing all manner of chaos in the city. Nakara, in her security guard disguise, and Randall, new character, a young man stuffed into an identical uniform, watch events unfold. So anyway, from the TV. So anyway, I think that if I had my choice, it'd be flight. Nakara, that's definitely a fun one. Outside, the van parks and disgorges his disguise with Nixa and Indril. Randall, fun? Sure, but I like the idea of it, getting away from everything whenever you want, just up and away. Nakara, what about teleportation? That lets you get as far as you like. Randall, yeah, but sometimes I'd rather travel than... hold on. Randall steps over to a divider with a scanning device in hand. Lenixa and Indril hold their badges up to the glass. A pleasant double chirp issues from the computer after Randall scans them. Randall, here for the T3 inspection? Lenixa, got it right in one. Any problem with the, Randall, alarms went off, those damn balloons. Also, someone needs to update the emergency files. Motions to Nakara. They still got this site down as a T5. Uh, Linux and it'll give each other a knowing look. Buzz us in, will you? Randall nods and steps to a nearby security control panel. Interior, secure storage. An armored door creaks open. Sunlight spills inside to reveal concrete and steel that better belongs to a fortress. Indra slips inside, pulls back a sleeve, and touches a tattoo that pulses to bluish life. Indra, telepathic, there are all manner of emanations. Nexa gives a wave to the distant security shack, then slips inside as well. The door closes after her. The two walk row and row of hardened vault nominally to make their inspection. Their eyes lock on a door that reads 16 AC, or whatever number happens to get the director's fancy. Linux telepathic. Nix the guard, Nikara. Cut to security shack. Nikara caresses the back of Randall's neck and catches him before he collapses. With her other hand, she affixes a black box to the control panel. Nikara, telepathic. As the black box sorts out the security. There's my part. Back to secure storage. Now, if this had gone differently, different parts would have been played. Everybody assumes everybody has a box or something. Indra inspects the door and frowns. Warded. Linux rolls out a tight bundle of tools beside the security panel, and Indra conjures a blue glow to his fingertips as he gently touches the metal. The glow seeps in and vanishes. Bypassed. Door? Linux decides to work with her tools, bypassing the physical locks 1, 2, 3. Something inside the vault door clunks. An inviting seam is revealed as it opens. Lenexa grins. Indra mirrors that, his glowing hand moving toward Lenexa. In this moment, it is implied that Indra is about to betray Lenexa. However, his glowing hand moving behind her, with treacherous intent. See, what he was going to do is I was going to, knock her out, take the item, escape. Done. The door shifts aside to reveal a massive stone figure, a golem of immense strength and durability. Its features depict a manic happiness. Then its eyes, nose, and lips glow red and remove any hint of true joy. Linux, oh crap. Golem! Tex and Fidelli pause as they prepare to flick a triangular paper football back and forth across the conference table as though they were back in grade school. Tex tutor, telepathic. Is it dangerous? Nikara tilts her head to consider the secure storage units across the way. Nearby, Randall snores softly with his head atop a pillow on the desk. A hand-sized fragment of stone suddenly puffs out from the side of the secure storage units and impacts the glass of the security shack, lodging in deep. Behind her, little red lights flare to life. Possibly, she says. Interior of the secure storage, amid a freshening chaos of a brawl, Indra conjures water tentacles to hold back the golem while Lenexa scratches its side. But her claws can do more than flick chips from its stony hide. Definitely, the golem breaks free from one of the tentacles and strikes at Lenexa with surprising speed. It is an old one, powerful. It is old stone. It is old stone, powerful. Text to telepathic, very well. Swift. Exterior, secure storage. A flash of red lightning congeals into Swift. It doesn't seem to congeal to it, it just does. Congeals into Swift as he rebounds from the large armored door that utterly blocks the way inside. He shakes off the shock. This place is impenetrable to me. Text tutor, telepathic. I see. Nikara, open the door for him. Lenexa, that'll trigger. Text tutor, do it. Nikara hits a button on the control panel, and the security shack, the secure storage, Swift waits. Inside the conference room, Tex waits, his hands oddly spaced. Fidela kicks the football across the conference room and through Tex's upright fingers. Tex shooter, well? Inside the secure storage, nothing happens. So Swift sighs, and Swifts off. He's a verb now. I don't know why I put that in, but he's a verb now. Security shack. Swift arrives, pushes. There's another. aside and rapidly assesses the master controls for the security shack in a blur of activity. In a blur. It's activity. We know it. Swift telepathic. It appears that the it appears that the alarm has already been triggered and that the doors have been locked down. Another portion of the building puffs out, and this time the rock slams into the far gate, utterly demolishing it. Text tutor, telepathic. That's too accurate to be random. Secure storage. Linux and Indril continue their bruising battle with the golem. Indril, it has a plan. He slams it with a water tunnel, but it doesn't budge. However, a tiny crack appears where the water seeps and Linux takes root. Linux yells, more water. Indril trying. Linux just tows it down. Linux buys Indril a moment by accurately distracting the golem. Indril reaches a water tentacle through teasing the tip through a pipe. I'll just have him send it. Teasing the tip through a pipe. A deluge strikes the golem, saturating it, and revealing a spiderwork of cracks as well as a man-made rectangular shape atop its head. It's atop its head. That's its head forehead? Yes, indeed. Golems have those. Indril shifts water tentacles towards the gap, but the golem slaps those into droplets. Linux lunges and is repulsed. Text tutor, Indril, distraction. Indril forms a heavy tentacle and this time wraps it around the golem instead of going for the scroll. The golem yanks Indril closer. Linux darts in. Her sharp claws tug at the panel. With a superb effort, she pulls it free to reveal a recessed nook in which an old, crinkly scroll can be seen. Her hand darts in. The golem smacks her away. Indril slams a flow of water into the opening before the golem can recover. The scroll is drenched. The golem shudders and then falls over as only a ton of rock can. Tex tutor's office. Tex lets out a sigh of relief and prepares to flick the paper football back to Fidelia. Across the table, Fidelia mouths something to Tex. Tex tutor. Well done. However, a rapid response team is on the way. Swift? Swift, arms folded, continues to observe the door. No. My overt presence would merely bring others into play. Trust me, you do not want them involved unless you can significantly accelerate your timeline. Text tutor. Very well. Nakara, decoy. Nakara in the security shack. Nakara tidies up the security shack, makes sure Randall is comfortable, then heads for the exit. The van she arrives in can be seen outside. She arrived in. Nakara, if you want them all to follow me, then I'll need to wear something. Something else. Yardley? Yardley, Pren, telepathic, pause. Go away, I'm busy. Text tutor, telepathic. What is the problem, Miss Pren? Interior, warehouse. Yardley, a slowly melting ice cream cone in hand, rests atop a plush chair. Nearby, her bevy of varied henchmen likewise consume a sugary treat. Yardley Prin. Well, we got ice cream, and then I promised they could take a nap. The henchers look to her, confused. Yardley Prin to the henchers. I'm talking with the boss. The henchers wisely go back to their ice cream. Yardley Prin. Besides, there's no way I could get there fast enough without Swift drawing all the eyes. Nakara, telepathic. What if I were to give you local control? Yardley Prin. Is that what you said when you said, whatever you're going to do, do it? Indril telepathically. Now. Yardley Prin. Fine. Hit me. Swift tilts his head as he watches Nakara head toward the van. With every step, she transforms into a Yardley Prin of absurd elegance and style. This will give the actress involved here something interesting to do, and a different look besides, which is always fun. Interior, warehouse. The original Yardley blinks, her ice cream forgotten in hand. Yardley's point of view. Yardley's point of view. Yardley's point of view. Yardley watches her ice cream melt for a moment. The view from Nakara's point of view overlaps her own. Nakara's point of view. Yardley, Prin. Wow, it's like Tuesday. Exterior, secure storage. The new Prin finishes her transformation and skips forward with manic glee. The motion sends her flying forward on overly strong legs. She smacks into the side of the van, rebounds, and isn't stunned in the slightest. Nakara, telepathic. Hey, be careful with me. The new Prin grasps the van door. I will. She yanks hard. The door comes off the hinge. New print, absolutely thrilled. I'll try. Exterior, road towards storage units. A trio of cars speed down the road towards the storage units. Armed security men fill them. Their security leader keys his radio. Here we go. Remember, don't step inside the units unless an engine roars as a van, missing a door. Swifts straight towards them. I'm using that as a verb again, aren't I? The vehicles scatter. New print blows them a kiss in passing. Security leader, strangely angered. Shit, that's a mask. All units, follow her. The driver looks to him. All of us, sir? The security leader blinks out of sequence. Whatever she stole, we've got to get back. Obviously, this is a little bit of a telepathic nudge from Nakara. It's perhaps too subtle here, but people should notice, and, because there we go. Secure storage. A vast collection of occult junk sprawls across numerous shelves as Lenexa and Indril survey the chamber. Lenexa, definitely a mage. Great. Indril, all great people make enemies. Indril focuses. His tattoos glow in sequence. Lenexa, it's not the making that I mind. It's having to trim the list from time to time. A case rattles in the back and begins to emit a glow identical to those of Indril's tattoos. Indril, that's the one. Got it. Lenexa heads towards the chest. Indril discreetly gathers the golem's ruined scroll and stuffs it into a pocket. How do we look out there? Lenexa asks. Swift. All clear. Swift swifts into the security shack with the usual crackle of lightning. He smacks the door button. In the distance... I forgot that it doesn't work, repeatedly. Until electricity crackles. He's overriding it in his own way. In the distance, Linux and Indril scamper out to the other van. Nearby, Randall snores softly with a pillow under his head. Swift considers him, preparing to snap his fingers and kill the man. Preparing to kill the man. Prepares to just kill the man. Kill the man. Then shrugs and instead yanks Tex's black box free from the security station. A little insight into what Swift considers useful. Killing a sleeping man is useless. The van bearing the new Prin roars down the street. Multiple response vehicles try to overtake. The van slams into one vehicle, sends it hurtling into a tailoring shop. Bullets crack out as the men in the other vehicle shoot at the van's tires, but it is rolling on solids and ignores that treatment. The van swerves again, and another vehicle careens into an army recruiting office. The security leader in the last car readies a portable rocket launcher, much to the shock and chagrin of the driver, but the van hits the brakes and the driver's evasion and the glancing impact sends the security vehicle into a pie shop. The new Prin leads out the open driver's side door. So long, suckers. That is a Looney Tunes reference. A flash of red and black flickers past as Double M swings down on a line, slams both feet into the new Prin, and throws her from the driver's seat. But just as Double M recovers, new Prin rebounds and lays into him. They fight over the steering wheel, the accelerator, who gets to stay in the driver's seat, and finally both the radio settings and windshield wipers, which new Prin can't seem to leave alone. New Prin finally pins Double R. Double M. New Prin, where have you been? I needed to throw someone into that tinker shop. What? Tinker, tailor, soldier, pie. Double M stares at her. A myriad of new Prin's cuts simply don't bleed. Pie? It's spy. Tinker, tailor, soldier, spy. You say it your way. One of the cuts heals up. Double M, you're not Hartley. Hardly. I'm new and the sound of someone eating ice cream is heard. New Prin, to herself but aloud. Are you eating my ice cream? Double M has no clue what to make of this. Nakara, telepathically, technically. New Prin throws up her hands. That's mine. Her point of view wavers. Yartley, the ice cream melted in her hand, snaps back to reality. Belatedly, she sets about eating what remains of her treat. New Prin falls away as Nakara returns to herself. Two images resolve. One, a mental illusion of a fierce hand-to-hand struggle with Double M that fades into the background as as reality, as reality, as reality. As she lets him up. That becomes an overlay. Becomes an overlay for the others as she lets him up. The van still rolls down the street, but at a sedate speed that has other drivers honking their horns in frustration. Double M to Nakara. All right, what the hell? Nuprin, I can't have her return to herself that way. But at a safe speed, shapeshifts back to her other self. And becomes Nakara. Double M is transfixed, though not much that he doesn't idly yank the wheel to prevent a low-speed collision. As an afterthought, he changes the radio station. Nakara doesn't seem to notice, even when the music changes. Shifts. Nakara, have you thought about my offer? Double M, how could I say no? You take a breath and then, oh, metaphor. I know. I'll let you know more when I know. Now then, you'd better tuck and roll out of the vehicle in case any cameras are watching. Double M prepares to do just that. Double M, are you really going to betray them all? I'm going to try, just as they would. We're all alike in that. Say, could you leave an explosive to make it look? Double M heaves himself out of the vehicle. An M-shaped explosive beeps on the wheel. Nakara sighs in relief. The arcane chest is set down. Thank you. Set it down. Down atop the conference room table. All right, let's consider all the action. We've had a lot of brief, happy action. Things are happening. There were 2 various fights, a chase scene. Hopefully, the audience at this point has gotten their fill of the fun of that, as well as some chuckles from what's been going on. So there's that. But now we have to go back to the boring talky stuff. The arcane chest is set down atop the conference room table. Linexa pats it affectionately as she sheathes her claws. Linexa, mission complete. Text appears at the complex lock on the front. Text tutor, let's hope so. Fidelia, you'll want a number 3, I think. Fidelia revs up a powerful electric saw and sets to work. Indril, couldn't you just pick the lock? Text tutor, almost yelling, what? Linexa, yeah, yelling. What'd you say? Indril, yelling too, I can't hear you. Text tutor shakes his head. I can't hear you. Linexa yelling, of course. It's no good. I can't hear you two. The saw winds down. Indril still telling traps. Check for traps. What are you doing? That's over the din of the saw. Okay, there we go. All right. The saw winds down. Traps. Check for traps. The far doors open and Yardley enters in her usual glory. Yardley prayed, why are you yelling? Mages trap their chests. And she replies, and their stabs have got a knob on the end? Fidelia halts her removal of a portion of the lid. Fidelia, you said there were no spells involved with this, and a penetrating scan revealed no mechanical portions except that a flash of copper snaps out from the chest, and Fidelia jerks back in time to avoid a set of sharp teeth. Indril, yes, that. A coppery servant slithers out, a clockwork antique with fangs and a distinct lack of shoulders. Text tutor, telepathic, swift, not telepathic. I don't know how the man could be late to everything. Swift flashes in. Trailing the usual red lightning. In his arms is Nakara, whom he sets down with practiced grace. Swift, I thought that none of us should be late. Nakara, I was having a nice walk. Walking? Do you need bus fare? In the background, Yartley managed to both taunt and keep one step ahead of the copper serpent. Indra, will someone gather the serpent before it hurts itself? He doesn't really care about Yartley. Lenexa darts in, but the serpent suddenly proves strangely agile and nearly latches hold of her. Swift flicks in and grips it tight. This is because the serpent in some ways eats magic, or lives off of it, or is empowered by it, obviously. And because Lenexa has magical artifacts on her and is in some ways a magical being, it's faster around her. Whereas with Yartley or Swift, it doesn't know what to do with that. Text tutor, good. Now then, Indra, will this suffice for the exchange? Indra leads in to expect the mechanism in Swift's grasp. It clearly hates the sorcerer more than the speedster. The Nexus peers over Indra's shoulder. Yartley peers over Lenex's shoulder. Yartley prints. So is this the MacGuffin? It does appear to be the serpent of the Styx described in Xenofu's Water of the Tigris. Yartley smirks. Yeah, it's the MacGuffin. Yartley print. Good, because I'm almost out of bubblegum. Indra lays a hand atop the mechanical serpent. A crackle of electricity makes it switch its tail madly. Of magic, not electricity. Indra softly. Beautiful. Text tutor. Then let's commence the exchange. Indra, what, now? Text tutor. I don't want to give anyone, including any of you, time to plot against me. Too late, Kara says. Text tutor. Then I want to limit the time. All of you have some sort of scheme cooked up. Don't try to deny it. No one really denies anything. Yartley print. I just need an accordion. Text tutor ignores her to Indra. Indra, where is it? Where do we meet him? Indra, in a place difficult to reach. Text gestures. It had to be hidden from both prying eyes and wayward hands. If you give me just a few hours, I can. Text tutor, let's take a drive. Indra considers resisting. Then he shrugs. That is what you want. Not me, Yartley Prince says. I've done my bit. I'm out. Lenexa, as am I, unless you need me to verify the exchange artifact. Swift, my services are also past, though if Indra will tell me the location of the object, I could recover it in seconds. Indra, no, my friend. It is as Text Tutor implies. There is no trust now that there is no task. Nakara, I want to see what happens next. Text bites his tongue. Text Tutor to them. We are all going to Fidelia. Bring the car around. Alright. Text Tutor Street Tower. Texas limousine, practically a house on wheels, exits the parking strip. Excuse me. Fidelia, clad in a chauffeur's outfit, is at the wheel. I will give her a stylish. A few civilians. She actually likes driving Tex around. This is kind of fun for her. A few civilians snap photos of the as the limo passes. Other cameras whirl as well. Interior limousine. Swift sits uneasily amid the luxury. The copper serpent held steady in his grip. The next, now dressed in a killer costume, reclines amiably. Nakara inspects a box of fine chocolates. Yartley loudly opens a pricey soda. Again, this is a perfect chance for product placement. I leave that to the director, etc. Indra points to a section of a map between laid out between himself and Tex. Aside it is a Indra, this one will do. Close enough if you have access to the sewer system. Text tutor, I do. Activates the intercom. The garage, if you please. Linux, this isn't exactly subtle. Text tutor, all of my motions are tracked. Movements are tracked. Everywhere I go, someone, sometimes him, watches. Swift. And you can't even call it paranoia. Text tutor, he can peer through walls and hear a cricket from miles away. Nakara, what about taste? Would a, what did I call it? Heavy metal. Taste this. Nakara samples the chocolate and makes a little face. Tex is hammered by the thought of alien taste buds and how they would perceive the human world. Indra, My kind can smell in the water for miles and taste the currents of the sea. Lenexa, the Chian woman seems to have superior, if humanish, senses. Yardley, the moose man too, but what he sees, he really knows. Swift, my foes can sense using the ultra forces. No one has answered that. I just thought I'd keep the conversation going. It's always interesting to see someone through other eyes. To Nakara, do you have a nemesis? Nakara just chews the chocolate. Nakara praying, she doesn't. Not yet. Not scared enough. Nakara, are you not scared of the moose man? Yeah. Nakara, no. Yardley praying, nah, he can play rough, but he doesn't play for keeps. Bruises and broken bones, tops. Indra, lucky you. In Atlantis, only children play. Lenexa to Tex. Why does he let you live? I mean, he can bend steel with his pinky. Tex Tutor, he enjoys my humiliation. Nothing pleases him more than my failure. But doesn't he always ask you to turn things around, be a hero, blah, blah. Tex Tutor, those are public entreaties. Were I to do so, he would at last have my final surrender, not at his hands, but at my own. That is why. Tex trails off. His fingers tap the silver case. Nakara, what exactly are we exchanging the serpent for, Tex? Tex opens because they had a previous agreement. Tex opens the silver case. Science, magic, mutation. Tex extracts a pair of high-tech gauntlets. Yardley print. Magic, obviously. He's got everything else. Swift. Mind, body, or soul, then. Tex powers up a gauntlet with a crackle. Powers up a gauntlet with a thrum of power. Thrums with power. Tex Tutor, do you believe in the soul, Swift? Swift, I believe that our knowledge of the universe is incomplete and that, for want of a better word, the soul therefore exists because we do not have an understanding of what that precisely is. Tex closes up the case. The metal twists slightly under the grip of the powered gauntlet, and he is forced to use the unpowered one. It's all in our head, then? Linux doesn't mean it's not real. Yardley Print didn't say that. Tex moves to Linuxa and holds up his unpowered glove. Tex Tutor to Linuxa, would you mind? Linuxa, bad design. Swift, indeed, why not install a delay circuit to help you put on the second gauntlet? Tex blinks at the idea. Yardley Print, or put a pen between your teeth and use that. Yardley flips a golden pen between her teeth and punches the air with it. Linuxa, I think he likes to be squired by beautiful women. Everyone is amused by this because it is so evidently true. Tex stares over at Linuxa for a long while. Then he lets slip a small, honest smile. Tex Tutor as he sits back down. I admit that plays well in my head. Linuxa, why would you live this life if you couldn't play out a fantasy? Money, power, revenge. Money, power, revenge, Swift says. Yardley Print, fun, Indral, infamy. Nakara, friends. No one else knows what to make of that. Limo takes a turn in an odd thump, as a thump of tire, and an odd thump of tires rumbles through the interior. Vidalia, over the intercom. We're here, sir. All right, and we're going to have to leave it off here. We are headed towards the completion of this, which means we've got a little more of interplay and at least one fight ahead of us before we can wrap this up, probably with one episode. So, I hope you've been enjoying this. Trying to figure out how I've navigated the little things I put in, and sometimes when I'm being too subtle, I've got to watch that. I really have to watch that in places. But that's all part of the process, and this is part of getting your screenplay whipped into shape. As is true with any sort of writing, you never get it done completely in one pass unless you're particularly skilled or it's a short work that you can work on briefly and have a good idea of what you want to deal with it. But that's enough of that. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular episode, and I hope you have a very good day. Thanks.